Hey, this is the Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. And today I'm looking at a new comic book, X-Men Heir of Apocalypse, #1. It's obviously by Marvel Comics. It's an X-Men tie-in. It's the first comic book to come out in the X-Men line post-Krakoa, so that's kind of interesting. I like this cover here. I got the Ron Lim variant cover. Kind of reminds me of an Age of Apocalypse, like Joe Madureira cover or something. I just love the big apocalypse face with all the heroes fighting below him. This is the kind of image I would always kind of try to draw when I was a kid all the time. And Ron Lim, of course, is artist from 90s Marvel Comics. Did a lot of work on Silver Surfer, The Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War. And I really like his style. It's got almost of an anime style, and even though I feel like these days he's using all digital artwork, it looks like, I still really like his work. So get into the comic book here. It's drawn by Nitho Diaz, who was an artist that I am really not familiar with. He did some work on Daredevil, the Black Suit Daredevil series that came out earlier this year and last year. But he's got a really cool style. Really looks like Brett Booth's style at first glance. He draws a lot of the same faces and poses that you might see from Brett Booth. Kind of looks like aping sort of Jim Lee's style too. So it really fits in well with X-Men here. And I wanted to shout out the inker too. J.P. Meyer, I believe, is the inker. J.P. Mayer. He does a really great job here. I really love these inks. You can see some of the ink lines like on the this quicksand here. Like some of these lines with Richter and Mirage there. Very detailed line work. Looks really good. So basically what's going on here is Apocalypse is summoning all these X-Men to this temple. And it's basically a temple of doom. So there's lots of traps. We see Sinister here. He's being confronted by this like skeleton dinosaur, and he quickly dispatches of him. Really like this drawing of Cable shooting through this skeleton pharaoh. Really cool stuff. We've got Cable back, old man Cable. He's got shoulder pads, big guns. Love to see that, and I love to see the original Mr. Sinister as well in his classic costume. I love that classic costume with the creepy looking cape. I love this face too, really nicely done. This character is called Armageddon Girl, which is a pretty ridiculous name. I like her design though. We've got Exodus here who says, "This is beneath me." And he just easily dispatches of these traps. And if we read X-Men 35, you know that Exodus really hates Apocalypse. So he's not enjoying being here at all. So we get kind of like a Secret Wars plot, essentially, where all these heroes are just being thrown in together. And they're trying to figure out, why they've been sent here and what's going on. We get Cypher here, who's a mutant that can read any language and translate it. And he discovers that this maze that they're in has kind of got its own language. But right as he figures that out, he almost gets killed. Wolverine saves him. Then we get a little backup of Archangel and Sunfire, who are former heralds of Galactus. And all throughout this comic, we've been seeing I said Galactus, I mean Apocalypse. All through this comic, we've seen Apocalypse trying to gather these mutants, and he's been convincing them to go to this temple, but he can't convince Archangel and Sunfire. So I really love this face of Apocalypse here. Nice eyeball as well. As we see the blue skin start to come up on Angel here, and we get a really cool page of Angel turning into his Archangel form. I love how the wings are kind of like halfway in between feather and metal here as he transforms. That is really cool. And Archangel says that he doesn't want to see another apocalypse. One is enough. And so he'll do everything he can to make sure that none of these heirs, or potential heirs, claim their prize. So, and Sunfire also rejects Apocalypse's offer. And they both fly off. I like this panel a lot of Apocalypse here on this hilltop. They've got, he's just in silhouette with the trees. And we get, little power displays of them as they fly off. And Sinister gets to the middle or the end of the maze first, and is quickly followed up by Penance and the Gorgon. And the other mutants show up here. And Cable says that, he wouldn't let Apocalypse choose an heir without him having a say in it. So that's why Cable's here. So he's already seen the future with Apocalypse in charge, and he just wants to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But, kind of a loose plot. Not too much going on here. I really like the art in this comic, though. Get a nice portrait of Apocalypse as he kind of telepathically projects himself into the room here as he explains to everybody what's going on, how he's trying to pick an heir. But somebody blasts them from outside of the temple right into where they are at. And the X-Men decide that they're going to go try and save the day because the city around this temple is being destroyed as well by whoever this is, whatever's going on out here. Like Mirage says, how fast can you get us down there? She's talking to Richter. And Richter, who still, as we saw in my review of X-Force number 44 from like 1995, that Richter and Cable, they don't really like each other. Richter's always had a problem with Cable, and he still does here, so some nice continuity there. And he says, might be quicker for Cable to body slide all of us, but I can build a rock bridge if the old man doesn't have it in him. And Cable is busy taking care of Mr. Sinister here. He body slides and makes sure Sinister doesn't sneak out. So he can't body slide all the X-Men over to this destruction that's going on. Some really cool pages here. I always like a 4-panel page like this. But I really don't like that Exodus is in this comic. I mean, we just saw him battle Apocalypse in the last issue of X-Men, and he got thoroughly trounced by him. So, I don't know why Apocalypse would pick Exodus as one of his heirs. It really doesn't make any sense to me. But Apocalypse says, an unexpected visitor. Fitting test for my heir. So, Apocalypse did not send whatever's going on here to this temple, but he's going to go with it. And we find out that it was his son, Genocide. Really great drawing here. Awesome splash page. If you're not familiar with this character, he actually debuted in the Age of Apocalypse as one of Apocalypse's horsemen. He is the son of Apocalypse, as I said, and originally he was called Holocaust. But I suppose as time went on, they editorial figured out that that was a little too risque name for a character to have, And so they changed it to Nemesis, I believe. But now he's going by Genocide. So apparently Genocide's okay. Holocaust, not okay. But awesome drawing here. I really love this. This is a great final page. And I really can't wait for the next issue. Even if the plot's kind of thin, it's just, again, throwing a bunch of heroes together, smashing them together. And then we get this new baddie showing up at the end for the next issue. So some classic comic stuff here. And I'd recommend this issue mainly for the art. Like I said, not too much for the story, but the art really kicks ass. I'm going to be looking out for Nitho Diaz's work in the future for sure. Such a great page here. So thanks for clicking on the video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.